Well, hello there. I wanted to make a quick video about, well, operant conditioning, I guess. Hiding things in plain sight, and one of the crown jewels of the Illuminati's drip, drip, drip feed truther system that makes you wonder is XFiles. Chris Carter, clearly an insider. Yeah, so that's not weird or anything. Mulder directly mentions the Mandela Effect. But episode immediately takes on the narrative of one of their quote-unquote comedy episodes, making everything seem so absurd, over-aggrandizing everything. It is the epitome of pathetic, and it is ultimately a slap in the face of proper truthers. If the X-Files episode tonight teaches anything, it's that they've planned it all along, and they are slapping us in the face. They also refer to the Mandela Effect as the Mengele Effect, in a way that it was based on Joseph Mengele. Operation Paperclip and all that, which I am intimately aware of with my own family. Mulder makes all sorts of crack references. He hints at fake news. He hints at the absurdity of them even having to hide it anymore. They make jokes about drone strikes and wedding cakes. But mainly there's a scene with Mulder confronting the villain, where the villain basically says exactly what the externalization of the hierarchy is supposed to show. That they get to a point where the truth is one thing one day and it's something else the next day, exactly what Orwell wrote in 1984. They make definite absurdity jokes about everything, especially the idea of what is real. For example, Mulder keeps pushing the parallel universes niche from Mandela Effect, where the truth of the matter is when you actually study the math, the only real way the energy works, because everything needs energy, is that this is some kind of fallen world frequency matrix, and they're just changing things in the matrix, to use that expression. As a Christian, I simply think this fallen world is a matrix world infected by death and sin, and it is not parallel universes, because that would create an infinite amount of energy, and it just doesn't work, mathematically speaking. Occam's razor, whatever, that's another video altogether. But in the episode, the Mandela Effect is clearly the narrative. They actually went out of their way to mention it on X-Files, just to hammer it into Joe's six-pack, that this is stupid, and if someone brings it up, it's stupid. And don't you dare forget to remember that it's stupid. And if someone ever wants to talk to you about this, call them stupid. And if you ever see it again, remember that it's stupid. That's what this episode of X-Files did to the truther movement. I just wanted to make a quick vid about something I saw on the TV that was pretty creepy. As everybody knows, there's a new season of X-Files. Well, I had to watch it and analyze it, of course, and I made a post on my Stop Human Cloning from a Christian Perspective page about how this X-Files show is most definitely insider material. I mean, the Chris Carter guy is clearly being fed insider material. There's no way he could know what he knows. I mean, back in the day without it. Now, with the internet, anybody can search for this stuff. So I made this post talking about some of the things they touch on in it, and I just want to say spoilers if you haven't seen the episode, but basically it's what they call the externalization of the hierarchy. They drip feed this crap to you so that you either think A, it's just science fiction nonsense, or B, it's in the back of your mind so that when stuff like this happens in real life, you go there instead of to a Christian perspective of it. Like, for example, so I'll just read this off what I wrote. Yeah, definitely going to have to make a video about this. Okay, well, I'm making a video about this right now. Episode 2 of the X-Files, Season 11. Okay, the first thing I noticed was in the plot, while they were trying to find, they were trying to progress the plot by they're trying to find a piece of intel to move forward. And the number 33 comes up a few times in this graveyard scene. And when they find the intel, it leads them back to the X-Files, a building where this supercomputer is stored, this quantum AI computer that's got a bunch of people downloaded onto it. So they go back to talk to their boss, Skinner, about these X-Files. They want to get into this building. And in this process, Skinner starts telling them about MK Ultra. They talk about CIA remote viewing. They talk about the singularity. They talk about uploading onto a computer. They talk about hiding in a computer simulation to avoid the day of judgment and the wrath of God being poured out, although they don't mention it in those biblical aspects. However, at one point, Mulder refers to this AI computer singularity as God, lowercase g, and obviously he means Lucifer, Sophia, as David Duchovny is an admitted Gnostic. That's the same religion the Freemasons go by. Also, they touch on the idea of your phone, your smartphone, your mobile phone, being able to upload and brain hack your consciousness. Now, in real life, I'm pretty sure you would have to be chipped, a neurolytic interface of some kind. Maybe they can brain hack you remotely, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, that's not something they get into the show, neurolytic brain chips. They just say that any phone can hack any mind. They talk about being near a Wi-Fi phone. It can slowly upload parts of your consciousness into a computer sim. Yeah, that's not a violation or anything. Now, this would be a copy of your mind and not your soul, obviously. In regards to cloning, some have described that long dead celebrities, famous people, world leaders, and whatnot are living on after death in clone bodies and or simulations. That's what the episode is kind of really about, this counterfeited immortality. The kicker is the souls would have gone on to Abraham's bosom, or Sheol. What's left is the personality and the flesh. Even a robot body could still be technically considered the flesh. You know, like Nebuchadnezzar's statue. It's iron mixed with miry clay. That's what a cyborg is. So some describe these soulless, counterfeit immortality people, whatever, like Pet Sematary, that they come back all nasty because their soul's gone, so it's just the flesh, it's just the lust, it's just the evil. So long story short, in this one little episode was crammed so full of real truther stuff, but of course the average blue pill will watch it and think, it's just a TV show, right? But little do they realize the externalization of the hierarchy all jammed into 1 hour show. And they touch on a lot of heavy subject matter. So yeah, I'm definitely making a video about this currently. Just this short little video, I would suggest everybody go watch a documentary film called Age of Deceit by Gonzo Shamira, Part 1 and 2. Before I became a Christian, I bought into this alien agenda crap, hook, line, and sinker. Because like Dr. Ken Hovind says, it's like rat poison. It's 99% good food and 1% poison. And it's that poison that'll damn you. And so this whole panspermia, alien agenda nonsense, the godless side of it, it's rebranding the fallen children of the Nephilim, the B'nai Ha Elohim, as this alien thing. They're here to save us. There's an alien group coming to kill us, and there's another alien group coming to save us, and oh, yay! But what they don't realize is it's all the age of deceit. It's, in my opinion, the fake alien invasion, NASA, all of it. It's the great deception spoken of in the Bible. You got MUFON sitting on thousands of reports saying that these so-called aliens are only hurt by one thing, calling on Yahshua Jesus and prayer. And I mean, people who don't want to look at that piece of information, that piece of evidence, it's because they don't want to. As far as the XFiles episode, don't believe the hype. This is all priming the alien agenda. And I can only imagine what they're going to say in episode 3. My continuation on this look into the new X-Files, Season 11, Episode 5, Ghoulie, which is weird. It's kind of a misdirection thing. In this, the ghoul is a mutant hybrid, Scully's kid, and they're trying to track him down. It starts off a murder on a derelict boat. They're hinting at sleep paralysis and derby hat guys, mentions of chimera and dream travel. A long time ago in the 90s run, Mulder made a comment in one episode where he says, dreams are answers to questions that we don't know how to ask.
And I've been saying that for years, you know, they hint at all this dream travel and stuff, astral projection, lucid dreaming and stuff. In this new episode, Mulder says dreams are today's answers to tomorrow's questions. I found it rather interesting because it's definitely what they call in cinema and theater and movies a callback. Now, the episode's called Ghoulie, and it hints at this hybrid creature, but in actuality, a ghoul is like an undead. Not like a zombie or a vampire, but more like a ghoul. They're grave dwellers, and they dig up recently dead graves and feast on corpses, you know, mythical or not mythical. I first heard about such a creature in the old board game Dungeons and Dragons, but in the show, Scully keeps going into this Stranger Things, Silent Hill ripoff dream realm. In the show, they hint at the sleep paralysis, which later seems to be induced by her son, her kid, who uses it as a way to escape often. Now, of course, they never mention praying in the name of Yahshua Jesus to protect you from derby hat guys, sleep paralysis, succubi, incubi. They never once mention any of that. They talk about a psychic bond between her and her kids, or between her and her kid. I mean, the one thing I actually noticed that has nothing to do with the episode, it sounds like Scully, the actress, Gillian Anderson, has been smoking 10 packs a day. There's also a snow globe connection to the Monarch Butterfly MKUltra thing there. And these reoccurring Men in Black characters at about 17 minutes in. Yeah, there's the two characters in question. Yeah, like Men in Black. At one point, they think their kid's dead, and then now they think their kid's not dead, so they're on the trail. They try to take swabs of corpses, and apparently Scully's kid in the show has the exact same abilities as the hybrid bounty hunter. He can regenerate, he has psionic abilities, he can implant illusions into people's heads. Later in the episode, she finds the diary of the kid, her kid, keep pushing the alien agenda. Fallen angel tech. They mention Project Crossroads, which is about the hybrid program, the hybrid bounty hunters. They talk about them having extreme electrical brain activity, visions of a future pandemic. In the show, they mention this Malcolm X reference, the idea of if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. The truth of the matter is what I found the most interesting about this episode was this whole notion of sleep paralysis, but yet not in the traditional sense, caused by her kid here. As you see, he regenerates, just like the alien bounty hunters. And later in the episode, they try to bring him in, they try to save him, blah, 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 but of course none of that works. And as this sort of illusionist, in the end he just sort of escapes, using his ability to create illusions, even at the end on his ma, or in the show, the character played by Scully. He appears as this illusionary character, and they find out at the end, of course. They realize what the truth is. But the big thing about this is it's pushing the whole notion of alien-human hybrids as this little green men, and we should utilize this technology, and blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing the Freemasons are trying to do, recreate Atlantis and this human 2.0 transhuman thing. But, I mean, I don't know. This week's episode of X-Files seemed to have to do with chemtrails, weaponized chemtrails, gases that would turn people into basically like the scarecrow gas. So the last two episodes have directly mentioned dream travel and MKUltra. So, I don't know. I'm still floored by the Mandela Effect episode 3. But again, this is just a brief synopsis. The alien agenda, driving out the Bible, not allowing people to realize that there's a power of prayer against these kind of things. I mean, sleep paralysis is easily defeated by prayer. I mean, but most people don't know it. They think it's something that is undefeatable. You know, a lot of people think there's no defense against this stuff. I'll link in the description below a video where around 40 minutes into the movie by Gonzo Shimura, Age of Deceit, he interviews former Deputy Director Joe Jordan of MUFON, where he describes case studies, proof that aliens are hurt by prayer. Well, that's all I got to say about this. These X-Files are the same as they've always been. They either make a mockery of something or they try to play it off as something it isn't. I just wanted to make a quick video, a shout out and a call to prayer. I want everyone to pray for all these New Agers who have been deceived, because a lot of it comes down to a slow, gradual descent of deceit, you know? Like, I mean, I saw this meme and it kind of said it all to me. It was like, of course it starts with Luciferianism, the lie in the Garden of Eden, that Satan told our ancestors, whoever they were, they got us trapped in this fallen world. You know, pre-flood, you got all the madness that happened, and then post-flood, you got the ancient mystery religions of Babylon, Egypt, etc., and how they will blame mimicry and say that Jesus is just a rip-off of them. These poor New Agers don't seem to know about the Torah codes and how they predate Babylon and Egypt by centuries. You know, the texts that would have survived on the ark during the flood. The idea that it's not Jesus who's a ripoff of Horus, Nimrod, Apollo, and all these other wannabe lowercase g gods. It's that they're the dark shaded ripoff of Yahshua, Jesus. Behold the hand, behold the nail that will destroy the all-seeing eye. And later came Kabbalah and Gnosticism. And Gnosticism, like I used the analogy, Gnosticism is to Christianity like the Sith Lords are to the Jedi, you know, a dark, distorted reflection of itself. That's what the Freemasons believe. From them came the Knights Templar and the Rosicrucians, which is the Illuminati arm of the Jesuits. A lot of times they were the bankers and the hitmen. Freemasonry came about after those two were exposed, which led to Marxism, the European political societies, international banking, the World Council of Churches, and then you got Alice Bailey and the Theosophical Society and all the occults forming around the New Age movement because of witchcraft, sorcery, divination, spiritualism, Hinduism, and all these Nephilim, lowercase g, wannabe gods like Buddha. The thing people don't realize is there's too many proofs the war between heaven and hell is all real. You got people worshiping Lucifer in high positions of power. Why would they just do that? Guys like my grandpa, hitmen, much less kings. And then you got the Torah codes, as I've already mentioned, proof that Yahshua came way before Horus Nimrod. But you got to keep in mind, the Zeitgeist movie and Zachariah Sitchin and that Eric Van Daniken guy, they're all Freemasons. Mistranslations and purpose misleadings for the ancient aliens and that whole pushing the ancient astronaut garbage. They were Freemasons. And then you got the third proof, you got former deputy director of MUFON talking about how prayer and calling on Yeshua Jesus hurts these so-called alien greys. And let's not forget that the first alien grey was summoned as a demon by Aleister Crowley. I mean, now New Agers don't want to look at this, maybe for whatever reason they don't want to bend the knee, or they don't want to think that God has the right to judge this world, or they have a grudge against the Bible. I mean, most people will think it's this, that, and other thing. They don't take into account the Nephilim and how many times in the Bible God wiped out all these mutant monsters to save humanity, but modern-day Bible scoffers will say that God is some vengeful, tyrannical nutjob. It's like, no, no, no. If God's wiping out a bunch of monsters to save us, that's not tyrannical. That's an act of mercy. But this idea that there's proof that calling on Yeshua hurts these so-called aliens, well, New Agers with their, I'm in the second density, no, I'm in the third density, no, I'm in the fourth density, they don't seem to realize that all of that is just this fallen world that we're trapped in. And the only way out is Yahshua Jesus' sacrifice on the cross. But a lot of people don't want to look at that, the rebellious spirit of Nimrod in all of us. And it's based on guys who are, a lot of them, like that David Icke and the ayahuasca drug addicts, and all these people that they want to look to for answers. Well, let's remember that David Icke, when he first came out, claimed to be Jesus. And all these New Agers, like, and I even cited George Green in my last video, they think Christ is some kind of aeon, and that's Gnosticism. That's the same thing the Freemason Luciferians worship. Like, and it doesn't click. It doesn't just ring any bells. I don't understand. Maybe it is the Great Delusion sent to people. God would send people a great delusion. They make a choice
to rebel and turn on him, and then he amplifies it because he's angry with them. People just don't want to admit that God has the right to judge this world. I mean, the idea of second, third, fourth density, that's, again, all frequency, dimensional frequency of this fallen world, whatever it is that we got trapped in. And I mean, aliens are not from some other world. They're from here. They're interdimensional. Plus, you got the proof of geocentrism and the idea that space is fake. And so all these guys claiming they've been out in space and there's bases on Mars and stuff. Again, I'm wondering, are some of them just outright bold lying, or were they shown astral plane lies? I don't know. I really don't. But I do know one thing. I trust in Yahshua Jesus. I trust in the three main proofs. And after finding out my grandpa was one of them, a Freemason psychopath shot caller, that was it for me. I mean, I always believed in God. I just used to think, how dare we name him as humans, you know? And then I realized the truth. And since then, my life has gotten a little better each day at a time, one day at a time. This is just a call out to everyone to please pray for these New Agers, that they gain discernment and wisdom and see the truth, and they understand God has a right to judge this world. People need to stop expecting God to come down to their terms. God doesn't owe us anything. Our ancestors screwed up so bad that we ourselves are, in a way, the inheritors of that screw up. The New Agers will consider this place a prison planet. Some cultures call this place the floor of the universe. But whatever it is, this fallen world, there's only one way out. And so I pray these New Agers repent and get off their high horse. Because New Agers need to realize their beliefs align perfectly with these New World Order scumbag Luciferians. Doesn't that ring a bell? Doesn't that click, click, click? Boom!
Oh, hello there. Quick vid. It's snowing a bit. Windy. I hope the wind doesn't kill this. I tried to find a spot 80 shade under to make this quick vid. Big shout out to Celeste from across the pond. She posted this. I'll show in a second here. She posted a video in our Facebook Messenger chat of a giant man beating up a bunch of smaller men, which are still giant men by comparison. Yeah, if you look at this quick video here, this dude, like I was saying before, check this out, okay? I wouldn't want to have to fight any UFC guys, but someone like this, I mean, you'll see right away how much bigger this dude is than the other guy. He fell on him like an oak tree. So I don't even know. This guy's probably 8 feet tall or something, maybe. 7 feet, 8 feet. Oh, the ref's in the way. Get out of the way, ref. Oh, ding, ding, ding. Okay, he's like almost a foot taller than this dude. Bong. He just takes him down. No problem. Ding, 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 ding. Like, that's not it. My God, look at the size of this man. It didn't even faze him. It's like kicking an oak tree. What is it? We're going to swing him around like a crazy person? Like, so yeah, again, my point to this is the Nephilim are real. We're just smaller. Our genome is getting worse as time goes by. We have more genetic load. More things are contaminated by epigenetic triggers, such as radiation in the atmosphere. And so you got occasionally a giant. I mean, look at this guy. I'd suggest Googling anything having to do with Nephilim giants. Just Google Nephilim giants, or Google Kandahar giant, or Google Rob Skiba giants. You will, like, he just decimated that dude. I mean, he's huge. My God, he'd give Andre the Giant a run for his money almost. Ding. Ding, ding, it's over. So yeah, shout out Celeste. Fighting that guy, no, there's not in a fair fight, no thanks. You know, if you have to defend yourself against a guy like that, that's one thing, you do what you gotta do, but in a ring, in a fair fight, that's a whole new definition of
they should be like making gargantuan weight class. I mean, they'd have no one for him to fight, you know? If people who are willing to step into the ring with this guy are mighty brave dudes, I have to admit. So whatever. But yeah, that's not crazy or anything. The Nephilim giants are real, you know? Can you imagine pre-flood how big people could have gotten? So yeah, whatever. Do your own research into the Nephilim giants. And I just wanted to make a quick video about, as far as the idea of the Nephilim, how many of you all know that a lot of the critters you see in movies actually were Nephilim before they were ever movie ideas? In the description below, I'll link a seminar by Dr. William Schnoebelen talking about the Nephilim, the actual real-life stories about lycanthropes, werewolves, and vampires. And while the movies tend to geese up what vampires are, according to Dr. William Schnoebelen, lycanthropes are pretty much exactly what the movies portray them to be. He witnessed seeing one, hearing one transform. He said he could hear the bones break. This guy is one of the world's leading experts on Freemasonry. I even remember, I asked him some advice about my grandpa at one point. Now, Dr. William Schnoebelen talks about high-level Freemasons that go through this ritual change to become these lycanthropes and are typically assassins for the Freemasons. Well, that would make sense, being that most people described him as the type of guy who would have to duck under every doorway. It's bad enough that I try to get a hold of Ancestry.com, and they have nada, zip, zero, zilch records on Freemasons. If you have Freemasons in your bloodline, don't look to companies like Ancestry for answers, because you won't find them. So I guess that's just a quick shout out. Not only do I wonder if my grandpa was a lycanthrope assassin, but I just wanted to let you all in on this seminar, which I'll, like I said, link below. The idea that in the TV and the media, they're promoting vampirism as sexy, these nightcrawler type monsters as something to aspire to be. I remember even growing up, that whole Anne Rice, the Vampire Chronicles thing was huge. Now you got that cheesy show Twilight, where it's all sexy to be a vampire, and that's even being taught in Christian churches as a lesson of abstinence. It's completely bonkers. So you should look into it, because simply put, the Nephilim are not just giants. The original generation Nephilim were titans, second generation, third generation giants like Goliath, spoken of in the Bible. But Nephilim come in all shapes and sizes. You got centaurs, animal-human hybrid types, post-flood. You got Nimrod starting it up again. You got all this talk of high-level Masons becoming Nephilim like lycanthropes and vampires. Dr. William Schnoebelen's seminar below again gets into that, his history and experience with it specifically. I mean, some people will just bury their head in the sand and say, that's crazy talk. You sound like you watch too many movies. But where the hell do you think these movie guys owned by the New World Order? Hollywood is owned by the New World Order. Where the hell do you think they get all their movie ideas from, baby? So yeah, just whatever. A quick shout-out rant to Dr. William Schnoebelen. Like I says, I had a quick Facebook conversation with him here. He was good enough to add me on the Facebook. He gave me some decent advice about my grandpa himself. And every day I pray, Yahshua, Jesus the Son, Yahuah, God the Father in heaven, heal me of that bad blood. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Just watch the seminar below. It's worth it.
We will ensure that our government never opens the door to the use of cloning for human reproduction. It is dangerous, profoundly wrong, and has no place in our society or any society. Now, this order is an important step in advancing
But when everything comes out, it's going to blow the lid off of everything, because this is the biggest damn story in human history. And it's simply this: you're not alone, and you have never been alone. You're not alone, and you have never been alone. You're not alone, and you have never been alone.